Distinguished guests, the President of the United States, accompanied by the Vice President of the United States.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please have a seat. To our President, Joe Biden, members of Congress, members of our administration, and our private sector and civil society partners. As leaders from government, civil society, and the private sector, I believe we have a moral, ethical, and societal duty to make sure that AI is adopted and advanced in a way that protects the public from potential harm and ensures that everyone is able to enjoy its benefits. Since we took office, President Biden and I have worked to uphold that duty. Before generative AI captured global attention, President Biden and I convened leaders from across our country, from computer scientists to civil rights leaders, to legal scholars and business leaders, all to help make sure that the benefits of AI are shared equitably, and to address predictable threats, such as algorithmic discrimination, data privacy violations, and deepfakes. We named it the Blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, after which President Biden and I had extensive engagement with the leading AI companies to help ensure the private sector commits to the principles in the blueprint, and to establish a minimum baseline of responsible AI practices. We intend that the actions we are taking domestically will serve as a model for international action, understanding that AI developed in one nation can impact the lives and livelihoods of billions of people around the world. Fundamentally, it is our belief that technology with global impact requires global action. Tomorrow, I will travel to the United Kingdom to represent our nation at the Global Summit on AI Safety. There, we will work with our allies and our partners to apply existing international rules and norms with a purpose to promote global order and stability, and where necessary, to build support for additional rules and norms that meet this moment. Let us be clear, when it comes to AI, America is a global leader. It is American companies that lead the world in AI innovation. It is America that can catalyze global action and build global consensus in a way that no other country can. And under President Joe Biden, it is America that will continue to lead on AI. And there are many ways to define the leadership of our President, Joe Biden. As even a quick review of his most recent victories makes clear. From creating technology innovation hubs in 31 communities across our nation, to expanding America's semiconductor industry, to making the largest investment ever in climate in America's history. So just a few points to say that President Biden is a leader with a vision for our future. He has the ambition to meet the challenges of the moment here and around the globe, and he has the courage and skill to lead us forward, including on AI. And with that, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce our President, Joe Biden.
Thank you. Please. I can remind you of that. I'm teasing. Thank you, Kamal, for that introduction and for your leadership in this issue. Before I begin, I want to explain why I was delayed a few minutes. I've just spoken with President Fain of the United Auto Workers. And let me say a few words about the UAW and the big three automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. They have reached a historic agreement and a hard-fought agreement that was really battled for a while, but it was all done in good faith. And these record agreements reward auto workers who gave up much to keep the industry working and going during the financial crisis more than a decade ago. These agreements ensure the iconic Big Three can still lead the world in quality and innovation. Due to the commitment and solidarity of the UAW workers, willing to exercise their right to collectively bargain, they won a record contract with over a 30% increase in wages, greater retirement security, and more paid leave. And the commitment by the Big Three to create more full-time middle-class jobs and invest tens of billions more dollars in plants and factories building automobiles' future here in America. I applaud the UAW and the leaders of the automobile companies for agreeing that all the workers on strike and all those who were walking the picket lines on behalf of the UAW, brothers and sisters, can go back to work immediately, even before the vote is taken. Ultimately, the final word on this contract will be for the UAW memberships themselves in the days and coming weeks as they vote. But here's what I know and what I shared with the United Auto Workers I met in the picket line. I've always believed that the middle class built America and that unions built the middle class. And that's especially the case for the United Auto Workers who built the iconic automobile industry. For too long, in my view, the economy hasn't worked for working people and for middle class folks. Because when they do well, by the way, everybody does well. That's why I came to office determined to build an economy to build from the middle out and the bottom up instead of the top down. It's a critical piece of worker power and is showing how collective bargaining works by providing workers a seat at the table to honor their contributions to their employer's success by securing pay and benefits that can raise a family on and retire with dignity and respect. It's showing how collective bargaining works for companies, how strong relationship between workers and management can mean record profits leading to record contracts. We're also seeing it across the board for the UAW workers. We're seeing this everywhere. Rail workers, port workers, Teamsters, writers, health workers, and workers on other industries organizing and by collective bargaining. Folks, look, today's historic agreement is yet another piece of good economic news showing something I've always believed. Worker power is critical to building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up. And so is economic growth. We just learned that our economy grew 4.9% the last quarter, the highest growth in 2 years, just as inflation continues to come down. We have more to do, but we're finally beginning to build an economy that works for working people, for the middle class, for the entire company, the entire country, including the companies. Because when we do that, the poor have a ladder up, the middle class does well, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. And that brings me to today's announcement. Folks, I want to thank Kamal again for the work she's done through her entire career to protect people from harm and to promote responsible innovation. She's traveling the United Kingdom, as she pointed out this week, where she'll highlight how America's setting the standard for AI safety, security, and trust. I want to thank all of you for joining us here. Some of you, members of my cabinet, members of Congress, including the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's been a real leader in this here, Chuck. Thank you, pal. You've state and Senate and local officials, leaders in technology, business, labor, academia, civil rights, civil society. And we'll see more I know you know this, but we're going to see more technological change in the next 10, maybe the next 5 years than we've seen in the last 50 years. And that's a fact. And the most consequential technology of our time, artificial intelligence, is accelerating that change. It's going to accelerate it at warp speed. AI is all around us. Much of it is making our lives better. And AI is helping the National Weather Service predict weather events, helping the Webb telescope manage 500,000 miles of galaxies away, billions of light years away. I found it when I turned on my phone and saw that. I thought, my God, what is this? Science fiction. I'm serious. Didn't you have the same thought when you saw it? AI is helping millions of commuters find the shortest route home as well. But you know, in some cases, AI is making life worse. For example, using teenagers' personal data to figure out what will keep them glued to their device. AI makes social media more addictive. It's causing what our Surgeon General calls a profound risk of harm to their mental health and well-being. Over the past years, Kamala and I have met with a range of experts, many of whom are here today, and thank you for coming. Here today on the risks and the incredible opportunities of AI. One thing is clear. To realize the promise of AI and avoid the risk, we need to govern this technology, there's no other way around it, in my view. It must be governed. That's why we're here today. I'm about to sign an executive order that is the most significant action any government anywhere in the world has ever taken on AI safety, security, and trust. This order builds on the critical steps we've already taken to ensuring the AI Bill of Rights to bring together leading AI companies who agreed to voluntarily make certain commitments to make sure AI is safe and the system is secure. With today's executive order I'll soon be signing, I'm determined to do everything in my power to promote and demand responsible innovation. First, the executive order is about AI safety and security. Today, I'm invoking what's called the Defense Production Act that federal government uses in the most urgent moments, like mobilizing the nation during a time of war or developing COVID vaccines during the pandemic. This executive order will use the same authority to make companies prove that their most powerful systems are safe before allowing them to be used. That means companies must tell the government about the large-scale AI systems they're developing and share rigorous independent test results to prove they pose no national security or safety risk to the American people. At the same time, I'll direct the Department of Energy to make sure AI systems don't pose chemical, biological, or nuclear risks at the same time. Look, in the wrong hands, AI can make it easier for hackers to exploit vulnerabilities in the software that makes our society run. That's why I'm directing the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security, both of them, to develop game-changing cyber protections that will make our computers and our critical infrastructure more secure than it is today. And that's why my administration has taken decisive steps to prevent these cutting-edge AI chips from being used to undermine our national security, which is possible. Second, the order is about making sure that AI systems can earn the American people's trust, the people's trust around the world. All too often it's already happening, AI devices are being used to deceive people. Deepfakes use AI-generated audio and video to smear reputations, spread fake news, and commit fraud. With AI, fraudsters can take 3-second, and you all know this, 3-second recording of your voice. I've watched one of me on a couple of things. I said, when the hell did I say that? But all kidding aside, 3 seconds recording your voice and generate an impersonation good enough to fool, I was going to say your family, fool you. I swear to God, take a look at it. It's mind-blowing. And they can use it to scam loved ones into sending money because they think you're in trouble. That's wrong. Everyone has a right to know when audio they're hearing or video they're watching is generated or altered by AI. Thanks to this order, the Department of Commerce is going to help develop standards to watermark and clearly label AI-generated content. Just say this, that's how it was generated, AI generated. That way you can tell whether it's real or it's not. And when your loved ones hear your voice on a phone, they'll know it's really you. Trust matters. Trust matters. Third, this executive order is about protecting your fundamental rights to like privacy. Without safeguards, AI can put your privacy at greater risk. That's why I've called for new protections on your personal data. With this executive order, my administration is going to help develop leading-edge technology that make those protections as strong as possible. Look, privacy is not the only right at risk. Without the right safeguards in place, AI can lead to discrimination, bias, and other abuses. That's why, with the help of civil rights leaders here today, this order directs several actions to protect Americans' civil rights and their safety. That means clear guidance for landlords and federal contractors and federal programs to prevent the bias in AI tools that can be used to make decisions on whether or not someone qualifies for housing or benefits or a job. We'll develop the best practices for AI use to ensure fairness in the criminal justice system as well. And when appropriate, the Justice Department and the federal civil rights offices will investigate and prosecute AI-related civil rights violations. The fourth thing this order does, it will ensure that emerging technology works for consumers and for workers. For example, to protect patients, we'll use AI to develop cancer drugs that work better and cost less. We'll also launch a safety program to make sure AI health systems do no harm. To protect workers, this order directs the government to help make sure AI isn't used to shortchange workers. I've also asked for a comprehensive report on the potential impact of AI on the labor market and how to help workers whose jobs have been disrupted. We're going to support workers in every industry by defining their rights and defending them to a fair way to organize and as these other more technologies emerge. And finally, we're going to make sure America leads the world in innovation and attracts the top talent to stay at the cutting edge. And because AI's challenges and opportunities are global, we're going to keep advancing American leadership globally. In meetings around the world, I've heard from leaders, and I've been going around the world a lot lately. It's good to be home. And we're looking, but leaders around the world, as they approach me, I mean in any country, they ask, is the United States going to show the way in AI? Will the United States lead? I'm sure Kamala's going to hear this when she's in the United Kingdom later this week. We'll continue to work closely with allies and partners, including the United Nations, the G7, and the G7, which just set out the first ever international code of conduct to safely guide AI development. Look, let me be clear. This executive order represents bold action, but we still need Congress to act. We need Congress to act. I want to thank Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer here. Chuck, you've taken the reins in this issue like no one else could. You've developed legislation to harness the power of AI while keeping Americans safe. Tomorrow, I look forward to meeting with you and the bipartisan group that you've put together to bring down to the White House to underscore the need for congressional action. I'm going to continue to call on Congress to pass bipartisan legislation, to stop big tech from collecting personal data on our kids and teenagers online, to ban targeting advertising to children, to limit it. The personal data these companies collect on us. Folks, let me close with this. We face a genuine inflection point in history. One of those moments where the decisions we make in the very near term are going to set the course for the next decades. And with the position we lead the world in the toughest challenges and the greatest opportunities, look, there's no greater change that I can think of in my life than AI presents as a potential. Exploring the universe, fighting climate change, ending cancer as we know it, and so much more. As artificial intelligence expands the boundary of human possibility and tests the bounds of human understanding, this landmark executive order is a testament to what we stand for: safety, security, trust, openness, American leadership, and the undeniable rights endowed by a creator that no creator, no creation can take away. Proving once again that America's strength is not just the power of its example, but the example of its power. Look, I know we can meet this moment with hope and not fear because of all of you, and I mean this sincerely because all of you here today, many of you are the originators of this technology. And all across America, the people are focused on this. You're the reason why, and I mean this sincerely, you're the reason why I've never been more optimistic about America's future. We just have to remember who in God's name we are. We're the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. So God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I'm going to go over and sign that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The executive order: safe, secure, and trustworthy development of the use of artificial intelligence. Thank you.